Hello, it's Mike from the FXPivotPoint.com. I'm going to take a look at today's action, which was March the 2nd, 2010. We're going to take a quick look, just a quick overview of Fibs. If you don't use Fibs, you should. I use them as secondary indicators to my system. Confluence. Gotta love that word. Confluence indicators for me. And let's take a look and see. We can see right here we've got a really good move during the looks like to be the end or middle of the US session today. And if we look at this, there's no doubt in my mind that this is it's going to be a very good Fibonacci example. I don't know if this hits the 61.8 or the 50, but it's going to be close. Well, let's find out. Let's go and draw our retracements. I draw mine from the wick to wick. I don't use the bodies. I got that idea from John and Wade at learningmarkets.com, and it works better. Again, that's a great site. Sometimes they get deep too quickly. Overall, though, absolutely fantastic site. Those guys do a great job. All right. Let's take a look at Fibs. Let's draw it from, let's do our Fib tool. Start at the wick, pull up to the wick, and what do we have? Oh, but you look at that. Bingo. Right at the 50. What did it halt at all? You can see it made a little bit of bounce to 23, but they're really the two main ones that I pay attention to and look for opportunities for are the 38 and the 50. And if it makes a move here, and as you can see it surely did, it stopped and then turned bullish to retest this high, then I'm usually a buyer. Once it starts to get down into here, then that's a no-no, because obviously the 61.8 means that a full retracement down is often likely. Alright, let's go see if we can see any other examples where Fibs, how about that? Alright, let's turn that. I knew that was going to happen, so let's turn that off. Let's see. Boink. Alright, so, I don't know. What do you think this is? From here, we've got a wick to wick. This is a downward move. You think this is 50? Oh, I bet it's close. I bet it's really close to a 50. Let's find out. Hit our Fib button. We start at the top, right at the wick for me. Wick. Ooh, it did touch the 61. But you see what it did. It spiked up here, which, and then quickly sold down to the 50 level. And then they tried to retest that 61.8 to fake you out, to think, oh, we're going to retrace the whole way up before we come down and test this bottom again. And it didn't happen. As you can see, alright, we can see this was the 50, and then you can see it held this line before moving down. But let's take this away for a second, and let's add another nice confluence thing. Look, we got this little trend line that these markets love trend lines. Look at this. It starts here. You could actually draw from here if you wanted to. Let's draw from the bottom. Look at that. Touch, and they just keep this little game of pulling it up until it breaks, and then we go sideways and back down. I love trend lines intraday because they give you a chance to play the break if you were going to play this, and I did, but I got out earlier. I mean, I got out right here. I didn't take what I should have because I was busy doing other things. But if we see that, we look at this from our Fib example. Let's move back to our Fib example. And we can see our trend line was here, and then it really didn't break because it went sideways right at the 50 before it moved down. Look at this other little trend line that it created. So let's do, and this would have been a nice break to play. See how it started to play the game again? Alright, so I wanted to see. Look how it plays this game again. Bounce, we create this little line, and again it was right at the 50. Hey, get back here. And once it broke, you had a really good entry. And then a lot of times price will come up and try to test an intraday trend line. You can see it tried to here before it fell on its face. Alright, look at those people buying that euro. Woo, fools. Look at that. Again, the pound right now is weaker. So if you're sell this, and I did, I sold about 1.5% here. I think maybe even 2%. Because I know that we're coming down. Now, I'm guessing sometime during the day or even before the U.S. session, sometime in the next hour or two. This will be tested. So it's coming back down to R1. My probability of it coming down to this line to R1 by the end of the day is in the 90%. That's how sure I am it's coming down. And my guess is that it's coming down to the pivot point sometime. And I'm guessing that because the price will touch the pivot point around 75% of the time. So we're going against the long-term trend here by moving up, and you can see the market's trying to keep the sellers at bay, try to do some stop hunting. So we're going to move down here, and my guess is we're going to move to the pivot point. Alright, well, I just wanted to show you the and you know, the fibs are great anywhere. Here's my system throwing a sell that I didn't take because I was doing something, but that was a good trade because let's take a look at this. Alright, so we've got our down move, and we've got let's ignore my system right now. This is no doubt is a 38 or a 50, and it looks like a 38. Let's try. So we start at the top wick, we pull it down to the bottom wick, right at the wick, and it's there we go, between the 38 and the 50. So this was a good sell point, and not because it was between the 38 and 50. That was one indicator. Here would have been the other one for me, my system that I told you to ignore. But this one is another nuance. When you have any currency, particularly the majors, when they make a move intraday, if that move is very aggressive and very strong, like this one, this spends most of the day going down. When it retraces back up to near the pivot point, it will bounce off this pivot point 15 to 25 pips, somewhere like that, somewhere in that range. A high probability of the time, and I mean the probability is that it will bounce off there. It's got to be near 80%. Again, I can't give you any really solid numbers because I'm only guessing, but the number's big. That it would bounce, and you can see it didn't even make it back. The price wasn't strong enough. The retrace wasn't strong enough to make it back to the pivot before it went and retested the bottom. And then it found, oh look where it found support. Ooh, you gotta love those pivots. Found support right at S1 for the day. And again, do we move back here to the pivot? We'll see. It'll be interesting. Alright, thanks for watching the video. A quick look at Fibs. And I guess we talked a little bit about trend lines also. But Fibs work really well. And I use them as a confluence indicator. And they're great tools. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Later.